What's up everyone, it's Dakota and welcome back to another modern video. And this week we're getting some gameplay with the Jeskai Breach deck. This list in particular, it was piloted by Ross Merriam, winning the SCG Con in Columbus Modern 20K event. He getting first place and Corey Baumeister getting top, I believe, semifinals. With not exactly this list, there were like a few card differences between the two, but we're going to be playing Ross Merriam's list. Um, Quickly breaking it down, if you want a semi more in-depth look at the deck, I posted a video on Monday kind of going over the deck and like the interactions and stuff like that. But what this deck is trying to do, it is trying to assemble Mox Amber, with an Emery in play and then a grinding station with Underworld Breach in play. So how it ends up working is that like if you have an Emery and an Amber in play, you tap the Amber for the blue mana. You have like Underworld Breach in play, and then you use Grinding Station, which says sacrifice an artifact, mill a player for 3 cards. And when an artifact enters the battlefield, you untap Grinding Station. So you float a blue with the Mox Amber, you sacrifice the Mox Amber with Grinding Station, you mill yourself for 3 cards, and Underworld Breach gives non-land cards in our graveyard escape, which their escape cost is equal to their mana cost, plus exiling 3 other cards from your graveyard. So essentially, with those 3 cards in play, we are able to, and technically Mishra's Bauble as well. With that, we get to just loop through our deck. We get to cast the Mishra's Bauble or cast like the Mox Amber, which the Mox Amber is probably the more important of the two, I would say. And we'll flow mana with like the Mox Amber, sacrifice the Grinding Station to mill us for 3 cards. Underworld Breach will allow us to then cast the Mox Amber that we sacked and put in our graveyard, exiling the 3 cards that we just milled with Grinding Station, and then adding mana, repeating the process until we hit Thassa's Oracle, and then we can cast Thassa's Oracle from our graveyard, and then our opponent has to somehow counter the trigger because we will be out of cards. Um, this deck does have some of the best cards to play in Modern. You know, you have some Ragavans, Ledger Shredders, and Expressive Iterations. All these to kind of set up combo pieces. Ledger Shredder and Ragavans can just win the game on their own. They're a lot of value. Ross was playing a Dragon Rage Chandler in his main deck. Obviously, just being able to fill up the graveyard for setting up like Mox Amber slash like Grinding Station turns, or even getting some just straight value out of like Underworld Breach and stuff. It does let us cast on lane cards from our graveyard. So like we could just play a Breach to get back like an Emery and then like start going off with like Mox Amber and stuff like that. Like this deck definitely has some ways of just kind of going off, it seems like. And we're probably going to stumble through it today, play a few matches with it, see how it feels. So I'm excited to get into it. Hope you guys are. If you are and you like seeing stuff like this and other modern deck techs and Pioneer stuff as well, please be sure to leave a like on this video and of course subscribe to the channel as well to see more content like this from me, as well as ring the notification bell so you know when these videos go live. And also in the description of this video, there's a link to the Discord server. Be able to talk about Magic and stuff like that with other people that like talking about Magic. That's always fun to me, at least. So if that's something that interests you, go ahead, follow that link, join the server, and come hang out with us. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into our first match with Jeskai Breach. Alright, and we're here for game one. This hand would be probably pretty good if any of these things actually did something. We are on the draw, 20 other lands left in the deck, like Ragavans and stuff. Man, I think this is kind of tough. I'm gonna mulligan and try to be at least slightly disciplined. Possibly just rewarded. So like we'll keep. I kind of just want to. Saga can get one of our Mox Ambers. I actually think I just want to bottom the Tarn. I think I just want to bottom the land and then just go like Ragavan into Ledger Shredder. See what we got here. Hollowed Fountain. Well, that's not the worst thing. Go get this untapped, play a Ragavan. And currently all we look like right now is like Murktide to our opponent, or at least from what we have revealed to them. And they look to be some Someone who hates fun. That is who they are. We'll go Saga. Saga Shredder. Say go. We really want to draw like a Mox would be kind of sweet. Because then we could like play the Mox, pay mana, play an Emery, and then we can trigger our Ledger Shredder. Alright, so we look like we're playing against Rhinos. And there it looks like they're probably gonna ice one of our lands. Probably icing the steam vents. So I mean we have the option to either pay 2 mana for blue. So definitely now wanting like a Mox or a definitely wanting like a Mox or a Mishra's Bauble. Mox would just kind of let us like keep going. So of course not that lucky. We'll play this fetch land, hit for 1. Leave our options open, I guess, to playing a sad Unholy Heat. At least now, like, we can go get a Mox, and then we have mana that we can float. So then we can cast as Emery, and we have 2 mana, so like we could even like Grinding Station if we so choose. Which this looks like, just casting Bone Crusher. Let's go fetch. Sacred Foundry, or Steam Vents. Not Sacred Foundry. We will add mana. Go get this Mox Amber. Play Emery. Mill some cards here, and then hopefully connive with this Dragon Rage Channeler, or this Ledger Shredder, connive. Ditch the land. Now I kind of want to cast Expressive Iteration. Surveil, we just get to see a ton of cards and hopefully set ourselves up to go off next turn. Force of Negation, Pitchfire, nice, alright. Definitely, I mean, not like the best thing, but you know, we do have a Grinding Station in our graveyard that we are able to cast. You can also just get like Aether Spellbomb, Mishra's Bauble, just like draw a card every turn like that. As long as they're not like casting Rhinos and stuff like that. I mean, they still have this one with 2 time counters on it, so we have a little bit of time left. If they... willing to double block here because they can't kill both of them. If they want to potentially just... Alright, there we go. So they kill Ledger Shredder. Is this a Fury? Oh, lordy. That's a blowout. That is like a blowout and a half. Alright, well, never mind. They neglect to kill the Dragon Rage Channeler, so... Oops from our opponent. That does kind of suck, and of course we draw an Emery. Mill, Unholy Heat, Iteration on Aurora. Put our opponent to 10. I guess might as well do this now while they are unable to do it. Put that in the graveyard. Obviously, just at this point, looking for grinding station, or actually even just looking for a underworld breach at this point. Like, we have enough cards in our graveyard, enough free spells. Another crashing footfalls. Our opponent draws Dead Gone, so that kind of sucks, but I'm hoping to draw an underworld breach. Underworld breach would be super sick right now. Our opponent tanking on our upkeep. Probably still just left us stop there. Grinding station, not what we're looking for, but we're able to kind of dig. There's a battlefield may untap grinding station. We'll use it, but obviously we won't use it. So now our opponent gets a crashing footfalls. Gets one of them. But we attack, so they go to 4. Fable the Mirror Breaker, so they get a 2/2. Alright, come on. Alright, well, that's Emery. Have to attack them to 4. I don't know if our opponent actually, because like at least with the Mox Amber, we can add blue mana and then mill ourselves. But I don't think we have that many turns left. Kind of forced to attack with everything. Yeah, definitely not willing to sacrifice like the Mox Amber or even like the grinding station itself. I'll take that because we're not dead to whatever it is. The big dumb spell. So I don't think we can actually win. I think that's a whiff. So we have Mox Amber. We can tap sacrifice this mill 3. I don't think milling does anything for us. Spell Bomb. So we could tap, get Spell Bomb, cast Spell Bomb, and then we have to hit exactly. We have to hit exactly Underworld Breach. Well, I'm only going to assume that that's like the best play that we got. So if we cast this, let's float mana. Cast Mox Amber first. Shredder, Graveyard. Keep this Mox. Do this kind of sloppily. Put into the graveyard. I want to float mana with this. Use Grinding Station to mill ourselves. Of course, mill an Underworld Breach, but now it has to be our other card. Tap Grinding Station. Sacrifice a draw card. blue mana, Scalding Tarn. And that's not going to do anything. Boy, that's rough. I think this deck is probably a lot more complicated than it even seems, because like there's probably got to be some better ways of actually winning and doing things. So that being said, let's bring these guys in. I don't know if Aether Gust or Flusterstorm maybe. I'd imagine like we can trim an Emery. Iteration. Unholy Heat's probably not super great. Ragavans are typically a little bit worse, so I guess I can bring in Flusterstorms. I kind of want to just cut like all the Ragavans. Play like, probably just keep the Emery. Do that. The Heats probably not even aren't like all that great either, and like we could probably just bring in Shadow Spear and try to like go a lot bigger than like the dumb Rhinos. So we'll do that. That can't be a keep. We'll mulligan that. This is probably pretty good. I'll bottom this land. Some will get to go bauble. Stop on their upkeep. Oh no. I don't want to draw a card from this bauble yet, because then we can cast Emery on turn 2. Or attempt an Emery. Go get an island. Alright, so Emery found our engineered explosives. Still gonna leave the bauble uncracked for the fact that then we can still cast Emery and leave up Flusterstorm for when they, you know, possibly go off with their little rhinos. Petty theft, okay, sure. That's alright. Let's go Emery, mill another 4 cards. Pass the turn, and now if they want to do the thing, we can Flusterstorm, and then they can't counter back. Explosives. So we'll cast an explosives. I think that means we can start cracking baubles. Kind of want to before we actually crack this. Let's see what that card is. The Fire Ice. Good thing we didn't play the Emery. Ugh. That's fine. Fire Ice isn't going to do a whole lot. I mean, I guess they could just kill the Emery, but... Which I wonder. Land. They're just going to go for fire. So if I try to counter it... That's fine. We'll probably need to save it for some other stuff. Draw a card. Right, found a Saga. So we can go Mox. Emery. Mill some more cards. We have 2 Underworld Breaches in there, which, you know, aren't the most ideal, but is what it is. Still getting to leave up. What, are they gonna ice something? Oh, Beseiju, sure. Yes, I'll use Beseiju's ability. More upkeep shenanigans. Let's bolt this thing. 5 mana. Oh boy, oh boy. That sucks. Dang. Yep. That's not good for us. Well, and now we play the waiting game. Possibly, well, I don't know if we possibly overboarded in this game, but like I guess, you know, they cast like 1 spell, 2 spell, like this gets a counter unless they pay 3. Sure, let them cast it so it counts towards the storm. 2 spells cast before Flusterstorm. Same targets. So essentially like a 1 mana leak, for instance, sorcery is nice. And we have to contend with their 2/2. Spell bomb. Wait for it a turn. Got like 6 turns, 6, 7 turns to find something. Sure. Shardless, go find another thing, cast it, and I mean, this is what we got the Flusterstorms for. I'm only assuming that we want to keep the Mox Amber around too. That'd be kind of sweet, so. Let's draw a card with the Spell Bomb. Alright, Grinding Station, there's 1 piece. There's 2 pieces. Definitely rather they. Alright. Always yes, always yield. So we do this, we go for it, and now I don't think we can actually do anything with it. We can cast Bauble a bunch. We can Bauble and then just like keep milling ourselves. Bauble, keep milling ourselves. I don't know if there's a way that we can get started necessarily. But at least with Grinding Station in play, it's non-land card, so we can't put a land into play. And I don't think there's any point in bobbling a bunch of times hoping that we just draw another one, so I think we just have to hope that we live like another turn, which, you know, should be very possible. Like their draw step has to be exactly like a force negation. You know, we do have a way to just like sack, mill us, and then Gemstone Cavern. That was weird. Alright, well, we kind of have to go for it. Go with Emery. exile lands. Darn, sure. With 4 mana, is this a force? Oh man, if they just have what are the chances? Yep, okay, sweet. So then we flush the storm that, and then we can continue to go off. So let's run it back. Boy, that was like an intense match. So kind of like how we boarded. Probably didn't play like the absolute cleanest, but you know, it's all that matters is we managed to get the win, so that's nice. It's always good. We have this on 0, but we don't have another land, so we can go boom, boom, Emery on 2. I think I'm willing to roll the dice on this. If this just finds another land, then we're just obviously kind of blowing them out with this. Spends footfalls, alright. Well, that's not what we wanted to see for our draw step, but, you know, it is what it is. Alright, that's not what we wanted to do. Yield to this turn. Nothing else that we can do. Basically F6. Oh, and they win the match. Cool. Sweet. So if we drew a card, Spring Leaf Drum really wasn't gonna do it. So then, like, we mill 4 cards with Emery. We basically hit like 2 of the cards that we would want to see. So that probably wasn't gonna end up playing out in our favor, but you know, it is what it is. So get it done there, and I guess let's just see what happens in another game. Let's try one more with it. That took a little bit longer than I expected, but we'll play one more with the Jeskai Breach deck. One. All right, here we are for the last game. Was planning on playing at least like 2 or 3 or like 3 matches with this deck, but you know this deck is really hard. And it's a lot. Takes a lot longer to play than I thought it would. On the draw, this hand interacts a little bit. It does have Ledger Shredders as 2 Underworld Breach, but I don't think it's good enough. I think we can be a little greedy. I think we can probably bottom a land. Probably bottom like this Hollowed Fountain. Like Ragavan itself is going to be pretty good. Ledger Shredder. I mean, like, we even have an option where, like, we could play a Ledger Shredder on 2 and then, like, Grinding Station Ragavan. But it looks like we're probably playing against, like, Murktide. That might be what we end up doing. So we play this on 1, 2, it's there. 3, we still have the mana. So let's go ahead and do this and pass. And I want to do this so I can get my, basically get a Mox from Urza Saga, and then that'll kind of offset losing a land if our Ragavan gets to survive. We also just leave ourselves open with the option of like Ragavan attacking. Not anymore with this Ledger Shredder, but is what it is. And we are super far behind already. Kind of under the gun already against like the Murktide deck. The fact that definitely like turn 1 Dragon Rage Chandler into Mishra's Bauble is pretty good, and with Ledger Shredder now just waiting until turn 2 because you want this card to survive a turn anyway just makes this like insane. Like the fact that our opponent got to look at a card and then decide if they wanted it or not, and then got to draw the card that they either wanted or either draw the card that they didn't want or just draw a fresh card. Pretty good. This that Mishra's Bauble card is pretty good with some of the synergies in the format, it turns out. Here, let them draw a card. Drawing another land is not what we wanted. Go Tarn. Fetch. I don't want to. Definitely don't want to die super quick to the Murktide deck, especially if I go to a too low of a life total. So we'll play at least slightly conservative and go get the island. Um, so all right, this if they have another, they probably have like another bauble or something, I would imagine. All right, maybe a 1-mana spell. I don't know if they still play Consider. I would imagine that they still play Consider, but I guess kind of good for us. They actually didn't have another spell. Oh wow, what was all that? All right, well that definitely did not go at all the way that I'd hoped it would. Oh man. Well, we definitely didn't want that. We wanted the Mox. I'll just kind of like prompt up really quick. I completely messed up. Um, the Ragavan's kind of the same if we cast it first. Cast this bauble. A bunch of Ledger Shredder triggers. Super awkward when you want to grow yours, but then it's probably what our opponent didn't want to do was have us draw a discard. Honestly, I'd much rather just get these cards out of my hand, like these lands, for sure. Got a Spell Pierce out of them. Cast this Mox. Alright, so maybe they Spell Pierce this, which would actually be alright if they wanted to deal with this. Bolt the Ragavan. Alright, float mana. This works out for us. I mean, they get to Surveil. I mean, this still is not a very good position to be in. At least for me personally, they put the card on top of their library, so it's probably like a Murktide Regent, which means we do not have very long until we are dead. Use this Grinding Station. We will always yes, always yield. So on the upkeep. Check out what that card is that they're going to draw. Unholy Heat, cool. So they do not have Delirium, so this only deals 2 damage. So they will more than likely have to either cast it, hope they get lucky, mill a card that they don't have, iteration. So now anything that is going to deal with the Ledger Shredder, we will get to see another card. So hopefully we will get to dig 3 cards deep. Definitely don't need another land. I guess also kind of a good thing. Alright, they exiled another Unholy Heat, so we know that they have a Heat. So then I'm going to get to resolve my trigger first before they get to resolve theirs. They don't have a Murktide, so that's kind of nice. At least not yet. I have no idea what they put in their hand. Alright, well, Emery's a good one. So we have Emery. So we still have 3 mana. We're able to win if we draw a Underworld Breach. I mean, we have 4 copies and however many cards. I mean, statistically, we're live to hit it. Should be kind of nice. 7, this is 8. very likely that we're dead next turn, so please one time Underworld Breach. Get 2 looks at it. Alright, well. Let's go Emery. Of course there was 2 Underworld Breaches in that 4-card pile that we just milled. Never lucky. And I just gave them 2 connive triggers because I'm an idiot. But I mean, I guess we're not really in any position to really be super picky. We just kind of have to go with what we got. At least I think so. I think in this situation we're pretty dead anyway, but I think this also just leaves us like actually dead if they discard anything. Yeah, 6, 7, 8, 9. So now I think we actually have to bobble ourselves and hope that we find like a. That's the card we wanted. That is definitely the card we wanted. You know, what can you do? What can you do? So I guess we just hope that they don't have anything. And we still draw a breach, and we still die. Yeah, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, exactly. Exactly lethal. They're going to draw another iteration. Sure, we're done here. We are done there. That sucks. That's really kind of brutal, honestly. I mean, we did everything I feel like we were supposed to do or could do. Didn't seem to be good enough. So your Aether Gust, spell that's red or green. That's gonna be a no-go. Flusterstorm. I mean, oh man, probably these endings. Pithing Needle, probably not. Those, no. Explosives on 1 seems at least solid, but I don't think so. I'm gonna cut these Ragavans. Probably like a Ledger Shredder. Oh. Spellbomb. Spellbomb's probably alright. Let's go down to like 1 Ragavan. It's probably not right, but this deck is going to play like a decent amount of removal. They're going to play a lot of removal for the Emery, so maybe that just means even more of a reason to like keep it, but I am not going to do that. Plus, like these Soul Guide Lanterns can mess with their stuff. So lead on Soul Guide Lantern. A Mox would be a great draw because then we can play the Mox and then play an Emery for 1 and then still be able to Expressive Iteration or Grinding Station. We're basically, I mean, we have everything that we want. That finds everything that we want. They we know they have Spell Pierce and we know that they have like Spell Snare. So I think playing Emery is like fine. I think we need to kind of get it going anyway. And then like Underworld Breach, we can get back in Emery if we need to. And I would imagine that this is what this is a Bolt or Mystical Dispute. Okay, did not have Mystical Dispute on my radar. No, I would not like to pay for it. I definitely paid for it by getting got by it, but I'm not going to pay for it, you know, the mana. But that's okay. I mean, we do have Underworld Breach, we do have Grinding Station. And they're just gonna fetch shock themselves to death. So Ledger Shredder. So at least we'll get to resolve a grinding station. More than likely a, well, I guess we only have the choice between iteration and grinding station. It's a little rough, but we probably keep the grinding station around. Alright, they add a counter to the Ledger Shredder. Looking at our card. I'm gonna look at it for about 15 minutes and then hopefully pass the turn. Their ball will trigger, they get to draw a card, we will draw a card. Alright, so oh, this is tough. So we can cast iteration, try to find some stuff and things, or we could just get down a grinding station, and I think I want to just get down grinding station. Or at least attempt to get it down, because I guess like they could just like sideboard into a control deck and so then we'll pass. So this lets us iteration. We have the Mox. So really, if our opponent like taps out for stuff, dash Ragavan. Dash in a Ragavan. That kind of sucks, because then that's more mana that they have to work with. Consider to connive with the Ledger Shredder. Okay. Alright, well, hopefully that means they just have a handful of lands. It's going to be like probably a tough game to try and win. So they put a Polluted Delta in their graveyard, so they drew a blind card. Grinding stage. So Steam Vents enters the exiled zone. No. Ragavan returns to the hand. Let's fetch. So, of course, we drew the Thassa's Oracle. So let's flow mana. Get the Mox. Right. So we can go get Amber. So we get Amber, that gives us more mana, and then that lets us start doing our thing. No. Alright. Alright, well. Sacrifice Soul Guide Lantern. Lets us cast the Emery. Lets them connive. You know, I guess that's fine, I suppose. Alright, so they discard a counter spell. Alright, so then I'm going to mill myself 3 cards, get rid of this. Do that, cast these. always yes. I'll untap. Float blue. Mill ourself. Sack this. Mox. Ditch, ditch, ditch. Target us. Do this. Mox Amber. We'll go. Guess ending Emery and Shredder. Mill. Mox. Boom, boom, boom. Combo that definitely takes a minute to get through. Get through another Emery. Mox. Boom, boom, boom. Ouch. Have to eventually just mill all the cards out of our library. Just got a bad feeling it's probably going to be all for naught. Coach. Bubble Emery iteration. Amber. Sacrifice. All right. We can go. Doesn't really matter, I'm gonna say, because this is probably getting countered. We're probably losing the game. Oh, never mind. Wow. Huh. Alright, well, that's not what I was expecting. So, yeah, alright, sweet. We ended up winning that game. I guess that could be a reason to have, like, Flusterstorms in. Like, we can probably cut a Heat in the other... Yeah, I'm gonna go full bold. Cut the Ragavans, cut a Heat, bring in the Flusterstorm, so I guess we can fight through like counter spells and things like that, which I didn't even think about, to be honest. I was just kind of like be more lean for the actually probably get rid of these. Probably play something like that. They can take control. Oh, alright. Looks like it's going to submit our deck with the prismatic endings in it. That's fine. A hand that I wish I could keep. That's probably not good enough. We can cast one thing in this hand. On the draw, begins it puts a card on the bottom. Probably can't keep this. So that's probably these, bottom those. Here we go. Dragon Rage Channeler Bauble. Oh no, just Dragon Rage Channeler. Go. Drum, Tormod's Crypt. Goo. Shudder, no Bauble. Alright, so that's really good if they're just going to like hit us for 1 and 2 for the next few turns. Ration. That's my hand. That on the. Oh no! All right, undo that. Exile that. Yeah, sure. Kind of doesn't matter. I was thinking for some reason we could somehow have access to the Underworld Breach, and that's obviously not correct. We have access to it at the bottom of our library. But now we're just missing the Emery, and I think we have like at least a decent chance of kind of going off. Opponent might go for like a spell in combat. Alright, sure. So, they keep that card on top. So Ledger Shredder is going to be able to draw it and at least put it. So maybe it was just setting up for, could possibly be just setting up for Ledger Shredder. Connive, mills a Delta, draws a card. Hits for 3. Dragon's Rage Channeler. Willing to take some damage here. Trigger their Ledger Shredder. Definitely at least getting this grinding station down. Mills a Bauble. Put that in the graveyard. Always yes, always yield. And then we have a very good shot at just making our Dragon Rage Channeler a 3/3, like kind of ambushing their Dragon Rage Channeler, even though like we technically don't really need to do that. By iteration, we'll yield through this turn. Hoping to do it just long enough to like get past all these like triggers and stuff like that. So they have Consider, enter the Exile Zone, so they can cast Consider, get another Dragon Rage Channeler trigger, trigger Ledger Shredder, I guess doing it in combat. Blow up their graveyard now. Block, they have those. So we'll see what they end up finding. Knew about the Consider that was exiled. Definitely probably premature on the blow up from the Tormod's Crypt. Just so then we could have gotten some of these cards as well. They're not going to be able to get Delirium from that, but still definitely a mistake. Probably even more a mistake to sack this, but if we hit another card type, which unfortunately hit an Emery, but you know, now we beat this Ragavan in combat. So that's something. It's a small victory, but a victory nonetheless. So we have a Drum, a Crypt, an Iteration, and an Emery. Just wait for a okay. Alright, so Iteration, trigger. Dang. We probably keep that. Hand, bottom, exile. Play the land. Hit for 3. And I guess we just hope we draw a. Well, we have. So we have 8 cards in the graveyard. It's a 4. So we can cast like a Tormod's Crypt and cast Emery to make the Emery cost 1. So then we have a mana left to still cast like Flusterstorm. And Grinding Station basically just gets to look at like 3 cards to find another mox. So we have like a draw step, hopefully more than likely a draw step plus 3 looks from a Grinding Station to find a mox amber. Assuming everything goes right. I mean, there is the possibility that we, you know, they just have like enough counter magic to stop us from doing what we want to do. Scalding Tarn. Definitely don't dare go to 3 against the Lightning Bolt deck, but there's also a part of me that doesn't think I have a choice. Well, got quite the triggers on the stack. Feeling like it might not matter, but you know, we'll see. So we get our Dragon Reach Channeler, Surveil trigger. Do this. We have Flusterstorm targeting, so same targets. Alright, so then the class copy goes. Surveil, put that to the graveyard. So I believe this is their Dragon Reach Channeler, so our Channeler has like another look at milling something. Put that to the graveyard. We'll go. I think we have to cast a free thing, so let's cast a Tormod's Crypt. Not using the Springleaf Drum. Graveyard can kinda like keep up in a way. So now Emery cost a blue. they have like Mystical Dispute. Oh, Emery gets to mill 4 cards. They have Unholy Heat. Alright, that's probably good enough. Well, do that. Pretend like it matters. He gets to mill 4 cards. Hope that I have another blue source. I'll kind of have to go for it that way. I think this means we win. Still have to find a Mox Amber. We have a where he gets to mill 4 cards. Literally have not found a Mox Amber yet. So, mill. Just looking for a Mox Amber at this point. But I think we have managed to win. There we go. I think we have successfully managed to win the game. Put into your graveyard. And put into the graveyard. Ugh. Our opponent probably going to make us do it, even though we did show them earlier. So keep it on top. Just maximize the amount of cards that we have. Mill 3. Amber, boom, boom, boom. On top. Now we probably don't need to keep adding mana. Ooh, just have to make sure we cast the right card. Mox Amber. On top. Alright, now we can kind of race through. Done. A graveyard. Five. And then we will cast an cast Bauble. And then we'll Thassa's Oracle. Milling the other 3, well, exiling 3 other cards. Wow, that was a heck of a ride. We figured it out because we're smart people. So yeah, we will go to the wrap up after that. That's mentally exhausting. So I'll just kind of wrap everything up at the end here. Alrighty, I'll keep this short and sweet. The deck was sweet. Definitely had a lot of fun playing it. I played 2 practice matches off camera and got utterly destroyed. Like I did manage to win a game, but definitely not to the effect of what we had in the 2 matches that I actually ended up recording and playing after getting acclimated to the deck. So, deck was awesome. I definitely recommend playing it, especially in paper if you have like the cards, because I'd imagine it might be a little bit easier to. Well, Magic Online obviously makes it easier to keep track, but I feel like in paper, it would, to me at least, it'd be pretty satisfying with all the triggers and all the zones and stuff like that that you interact with. So if you guys enjoyed the deck list, I will leave it in the description of this video, a link to the Goldfish deck list. It'll be Ross Merriam's version of the deck, and I believe in like the same little page, you'll be able to find Corey Baumeister's as well, if that is something that interests you. With that being said, I'll end the video here. Been a long one, definitely mentally exhausted and ready to get some sleep. So hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video.